Greetings from Australia. I'm very sorry I can't join you at the International Symposium on the dumping of toxic waste in the China Sea. As you may be aware, the Australian Parliament is currently in session and I'm required to be in attendance for that. But can I congratulate the Vietnamese diaspora and in particular the organisation Vietnam for Progress in organising this international symposium and also for the ongoing work that they do in respect to human rights, environmental issues and importantly promoting economic development in Vietnam. Now, the issue of the toxic waste dumping in the China Sea is something that I have taken a very active interest in. I should tell you how I came to become involved in this matter. Some time ago, I had an intern from Voice. The intern was Tan Anh Nguyen. He was now residing in the Ha Tinh province. When this instance, the toxic waste discharge started and dead fish started appearing on the shores, he contacted me from Vietnam, let me know what was going on, and by that stage more and more media outlets were starting to discover through bloggers in Vietnam what was occurring. So right from the very outset of this issue, I have been involved, and particularly with my very much Vietnamese community here in Australia. I am very concerned on a number of aspects of this. I know the level of impact that this disaster has had on the community, and just relying on the figures from the Vietnamese government alone, something 7.5 fishing vessels have been impacted, but importantly 41,000 people, fishermen, those directly involved in the fishing industry of Vietnam, have been impacted, and even the government says indirectly it amounts to about 170,000 people impacted. Now that's a huge environmental disaster, one that was kept under wraps for a long period of time, and it was only through the bloggers and those brave enough to get the word out that we understood what was occurring in Vietnam. I am concerned, very concerned, when it is a foreign-owned company, a Taiwanese-owned company, a company that from a country that we know prides itself as being a beacon of democracy in the region. A company such as FORMOSA Plastics, that owns the FORMOSA Steel Company in the Ha Tinh province, they have a very good environmental record where they operate in Taiwan. Why is it that a Western-owned company would go into a country like Vietnam, exploit lax regulative conditions and take advantage of people in a way that has occurred here that can't be seen at anything else other than exploiting the environment and exploiting the people of Vietnam? Now that should be a concern for all of us in the international community. One of our own, a country from one of our own democracies, is prepared to do it. Now this is not the first occasion that's occurred. For instance, the Mai Phong shoe factory case, another company owned by a Taiwanese-owned company, was prepared to actually exploit workers, but yet the Vietnamese government was prepared to crack down on those employees, preventing the strikers from protesting and arresting those who had helped organise the collective bargaining. Now that's just another example. Now there's many examples of these. The companies that are prepared to exploit the environment and the people of Vietnam deserve the same degree of condemnation as we apply to the Vietnamese government itself. The other point I want to make about what I've seen resulting from this toxic discharge is not so much the fact that the FORMOSA Steel Company is being held responsible now to the tune of, I think, about $500 million, but the fact that there's been an extraordinary crackdown by the authorities in Vietnam on protesters, on many of those people who are directly involved and directly impacted by this discharge, people whose livelihoods have been affected. They've been prevented from getting to the courts to be able to seek compensation and justice. Now, that's again has occurred by the Vietnamese authorities. That's something that should be a concern to us. It's a matter of human rights. And by the way, this is a matter of the commercial rights of those who are dependent on the fishing industry. They deserve the compensation. They didn't cause the discharge. They didn't cause this environmental disaster, and yet effectively they are still being punished. They need our support. And I think in terms of the International Symposium, I think this is a good opportunity for us to show the support for the people who count. We believe in people. We believe in helping those that need our helping hand. And we need to ensure that where there is an environmental disaster impacting on the lives and livelihoods of all those thousands of families that rely on this industry, we're there to help. Quite frankly, if the Vietnamese government is not prepared to allow compensation for these people, we should be demanding through our human rights dialogue with Vietnam, we should be demanding through all our international agencies and also through our embassies demanding that the Vietnamese government stands up, takes responsibility and ensures that the people who count are looked after. Once again, I'm sorry I can't be with you. I wish you well for your symposium. I look forward to hearing from my colleague Bon Nguyen, the National President of the VCA in Australia, on his return of all the developments in Washington. So best regards from many of us here in Australia. Thank you.